गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय गौरानिताई 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 जय गौरानिताई जय प्रभुपादा 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 जय प्रभुपादा ताई गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल जय मिश्रपाद परमहंस प्रभुपाद का आचार्य श्री श्रीमद कृष्ण कृपा मूर्ति ऐसी भक्ति महाराष्ट्र प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रीमद भागवतम की जय। श्री गौरनिताय की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय। श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर की जय। निताय गौर परमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayesu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 78, and verses 7 to 16. So there are series of verses that will be covered in today's session. So I'll read the verses from 7 until 15, and then verse 16 we'll chant together, because that verse has got one of the longest purport of Srimad Bhagavatam. So 7 till 15, and then we'll chant together verse 16. In fact, we can all chant, but word for word meaning we'll read from text 16. evam rūkṣais tudan vākyaiḥ kṛṣṇaṁ totrair dvipam gadayātāḍayan mūrdhni siṁha-vat vyanadac cha. So the translation: thus, trying to harass Lord Kṛṣṇa with harsh words, as one might prick an elephant with sharp goads, Dantavakra struck the Lord on the head with his club and roared like a lion. Text 9. gadayā hridaya udvaman rudhiram mukhat prasarya keshabaya angri dharanyamnya patad vyasuhu. I think I left text 8. Gadayā peto apyajo nachachal yadvudvadha kṛṣṇaṁ tamahan gurvya komodakya stanantare. So translation to text 8. Although hit by Dantavakra's club, Lord Kṛṣṇa, the deliverer of the Yadus, did not budge from his place on the battlefield. Rather, with his massive Kaumodiki club, the Lord struck Dantavakra in the middle of his chest. Text 9. Gadayā nirbhindya hridaya उद्वमन् रुधिरं मुखात् प्रसार्य केशबाह्यजङ्घ्रीन् धरण्यां न्यपतद्व्यसुः. Translation to text 9. His heart shattered by the club's blow, Dantavakra vomited blood and fell lifeless to the ground, his hair disheveled and his arms and legs sprawling. Text 10. Tata sukshmataram jyotihi kṛṣṇaṁ adbhutam pashyatam sarvabhutanam yatha chaitya vadhe nripa. Translation. A most subtle and wondrous spark of light then rose from the demon's body and entered Lord Kṛṣṇa. While everyone looked on, O King, just as when Shishupal was killed. Text 11. Vidurathastu tadbhrata bhratrishoka pariplatah agachat siṁha-vat abhyamuchya sanstitya jighamsaya. But then Dantavakra's brother Vidurath, immersed in sorrow over his brother's death, came forward breathing heavily, sword and shield in hand. He wanted to kill the Lord. Tasya chapatitah Krishnas chakrena kshuranemina shirojahara rajendra sakritam sakundalam. O best of king, as Vidurath fell upon him, Lord Kṛṣṇa used his razor as Sudarshan disc to remove his head, complete with its helmet and earrings. Text 13 to 15. Evam saubham cha salvam cha dantavakram sahanujam hatva durvishan annai ईडितं सुरमानवै मुनिभिः सिद्धगन्धर्वै विद्याधर्महोरगैः अप्सरोभिः पितृगणैः यक्षैः किन्नरचारणैः उपगीयमान विजयाः कुस्मैरभिवर्षिताः वृतश्च वृष्णिप्रवरैः विवेशालं कृतां पुरीम्. Translation to text up to 15. Having thus destroyed Shalva and his sub-heirship, along with Dantavakra and his younger brother, all of whom were invincible before any other opponent, the Lord was praised by demigods, human beings, and great sages, by Siddhas, Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, and Mahoragas, and also by Apsaras, Pitas, Yakshas, Kinnaras, and Charanas. As they sang his glories and showered him with flowers, the Supreme Lord entered his festively decorated capital city in the company of the most eminent Vrishnis. So text 16, we will all chant together. I'll read the word for meaning, translation and purport. Evam yogeshwarah Kṛṣṇo Bhagavan Jagadishwarah Iyate Pashudrishtinam Nirjito Jayatiti Saha. Evam yogeshwarah Kṛṣṇo Bhagavan Jagadishwarah Iyate Pashudrishtinam Nirjito Jayatiti Saha. Evam yogeshwarah Kṛṣṇo Bhagavan Jagadishwarah Iyate Pashudrishtinam Nirjito Jayatiti Saha. Please repeat. Evam Yogeshwara Kṛṣṇa Bhagavan Jagadīśvara Yate Pasudrishtina Nidito Jayati Tisaha Evam Yogeshwara Kṛṣṇa Bhagavan Jagadīśvara Yate Pasudrishtina Nidito Jayati Tisaha
evam Yogeshwara Kṛṣṇa
Evam Yogeshwara Kṛṣṇa Bhagavan Jagadīśvara Yate Pasudrishtina Nirjito Jayati Tisaha Evam Yogeshwara Kṛṣṇa Bhagavan Jagadīśvara Yate Pasudrishtina Nirjito Jayati Tisaha. Mataji's. Evam Yogeshwara Kṛṣṇa Bhagavan Jagadīśvara Yate Pasudrishtina Nirjito Jayati Tisaha. What for meaning? Evam, in this fashion, yoga, of mystic yoga, Ishvara, the Lord, Kṛṣṇa, Krishna, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Jagat, of the universe, Ishvara, the Lord, Iyate, seems, Pashu, like animals, Drishtinam, to those whose sight, Nirjitaha, defeated, Jayati, is victorious, Iti, as if, Saha, he. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Thus Lord Kṛṣṇa, Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of all mystic power and Lord of the universe, is ever victorious. Only those of beastly vision think he sometimes suffers defeat. So please repeat. Thus Lord Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of all mystic power and Lord of the universe, is ever victorious. Only those of beastly vision think he sometimes suffers defeat. Purport. This is a very, very long purport. So I'm just going to read it. This is one of the longest purports of Srimad Bhagavatam, but very, very powerful, very meaningful. So please listen. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti gives the following elaborate commentary on this section of Srimad Bhagavatam concerning the killing of Dantavakra. The Uttarakhand 279 of the Padma Purana contains further details in the following prose passage. Atha Shishupalam Nihitam Shrutva Dantavakra Kṛṣṇena Saha Yodham Mathuram Ajagam Kṛṣṇatu Tachrutva Ratham Aruha Mathura Ayayo. Then, hearing that Shishupal had been killed, Dantavakra went to Mathura to fight against Kṛṣṇa. When Kṛṣṇa, moreover, heard of this, he mounted a chariot and went to Mathura. तयोर दंतवक्र वासुदेवयोर अहोरात्रम मथुरा द्वारे संग्रामः समवर्तत कृष्णस्तु गदया तम जघान सतु चूर्णित सर्वांगो व निर्भिन्नो महीधर एव गतासुर अवनितले निपपात सोऽपि हरे शिशु सारूप्येन योगे गम्यम नित्यानंद सुखदम शाश्वतम परमम padam avapo. Between the two of them, Dantavakra and Lord Vasudeva, there then began a battle of the gate of Mathura, at the gate of Mathura, that lasted all day and night. Finally, Krishna struck Dantavakra with his club, at which point Dantavakra fell lifeless to the ground, all his limbs smashed like a mountain, shattered by a lightning bolt. Dantavakra achieved the liberation of gaining his form equal to the Lord's, and thus he also achieved the Lord's eternal supreme abode, attainable by perfect yogis, which bestows the happiness of everlasting spiritual bliss. Itham jay vijayo shanakadi shapa व्याजेन केवलम भगवतो लीलार्थम संवृष्टाव अवतीर जन्मत्रयपि तेनैव निहितो जन्म त्रयावसाने मुक्तिम अवाप्तो. So it was that Jay and Vijay, apparently because of being cursed by Shanak and his brothers, but actually to facilitate the Supreme Lord's pastimes, descended to this material world, and in 3 consecutive lifetimes were killed by the Lord himself. Then, at the completion of these 3 lifetimes, they attained liberation. In this passage of the Padma Purana, the words Krishnastu tachrutva, when Krishna heard of this, indicate that the Lord heard from Narad, who travels as swiftly as the mind, and that Dantavakra had gone to Mathura. Therefore, immediately after killing Shalva, without first entering Dwarka, the Lord reached the vicinity of Mathura in a single moment on his chariot, which also moves as swiftly as the mind. And there he saw Dantavakra. Thus, it is that even today, by the gate of Mathura, facing the direction of Dwarka, there is a village known in the vernacular as Datiha, a name derived from the Sanskrit Dantavakra, killer of Dantavakra. This village was founded by Krishna's great grandson Vajra. In the same section of the Padma Purana, these statements follow. Krishnopi tam hatva yamanam uttirya nandavrajam gatva sodkanthau pitrav avivadya asya avasya tabhyam शश्रुशेखम आलिंगितः सकल गोप वृद्धान प्रणम्य बहु वस्त्राभरण आदिभिः तत्र स्थान संतर्पयाम आस. After killing him, Vidurat, Krishna crossed the Yamuna and went to the cowherd village of Nanda, where he honored and consoled his aggrieved parents. They drenched him with tears and embraced him. And then the Lord offered obeisances to the elder cowherd man and gratified all the residents with abundant gifts of clothing, ornaments, and so on. Kalindyaha pulane ramme punya vraksh samachite gop naribhir anisham kridayam asa keshavaha. Ramya keli सुखी नैव गोपवेश धरः प्रभु बहु प्रेम रसनात्र मास द्वयम उवासः. Lord Kṛṣṇa sported continuously with the cowherd women on the Kalindi's charming bank, which was filled with pious trees. Thus the Supreme Lord, assuming the appearance of a cowherd, resided there for 2 months, enjoying the pleasure of intimate pastimes in various moods of loving reciprocation. Atha tatra stha nandugopadyah sarve janah putra daradi sahita vasudeva prasadena divya rupa dhara vimanam arudha paramam vaikuntha lokam avapuhu. Krishnastu nandagop brajokasam sarvesham niramayam swapadam dattva devi deva ganahi samstuyamano dvarvatim vivesha. Then by Lord Vasudeva's grace, Nanda and all the other residents of that place, together with their children and wives, assumed their eternal spiritual forms, boarded a celestial airplane and ascended to the supreme Vaikuntha planet, Golok Vrindavan. Lord Kṛṣṇa, however, after bestowing on Nandagopa and all the other inhabitants of Vraja his own transcendental abode, which is free of all disease, traveled through the sky and returned to Dwarka as demigods chanted his praises. Srila Rupa Goswami comments as follows on this passage in his Laghu Bhagavatamrita 488-89. Braje sader ansabhuta yed dronadya avataran Krishna-stan eva vaikunthe prayanod iti sampratam prashtebhyopi pritamer janer gokulvasavih vrindarane sarivasav viharam kurute hari. Since Drona and other demigods had previously descended to earth to merge as partial expansions into the king of Braj and other devotees of Vrindavan, at this time it was these demigod expansions whom Lord Kṛṣṇa sent up to Vaikuntha. Lord Hari is perpetually enjoying pastimes in Vrindavan with his intimate devotees, the residents of Gokul, who are dearer to him than even his most dear other devotees. In the passage of the Padma Purana, the word putra in the phrase Nandagopadayah sarve janah putra daradi sahita, Nandagop and the others, together with their children and wives, refers to such sons as Krishna, Sridhama and Subal, while the word Dara refers to such wives as Shri Yashoda and Kirtida, the mother of Radharani. The phrase Sarve Janaha, all the people, refers to everyone living in the district of Vraj. Thus, they all went to the topmost Vaikuntha planet, Goloka. The phrase Divya Rup Dharaha indicates that in Golok, they engage in pastimes appropriate to demigods, not those suited to humans, as in Gokul. Just as during Lord Ramchandra's incarnation, the residents of Ayodhya were transported to Vaikuntha in their self-same bodies, so in this incarnation of Kṛṣṇa, the residents of Braj attained to Golok in theirs. Lord Kṛṣṇa's journey from Dwarka to Braj is confirmed by the following passage of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yarhi ambujaksha pasasasar bho bhavan karun madhun vat suhrid didrukshaya tatrabda koti pratimaha kṣṇo bhavet. O lotus-eyed Lord, whenever you go away to Mathura, Vrindavan or Hastinapur to meet your friends and relatives, every moment of your absence seems like a million years. Lord Kṛṣṇa had been harboring a desire to go see his friends and relatives in Vraj ever since Lord Baldev had gone there. But his mother, father and other elders in Dwarka had refused to give him permission. Now, however, after the killing of Shal, when Kṛṣṇa heard from Narad that Dantavakra had gone to Mathura, no one could object to Lord's going there immediately without first entering Dwarka. And after killing Dantavakra, he would have the opportunity to meet with his friends and relatives living in Vraj. Thinking like this and also remembering Uddhava's allusion to the gopis in the words Gayanti te Vishat Karma, Bhagavatam 10:71-9, he went to Vraj, dispelling the feelings of separation of the inhabitants. For 2 months, Lord Kṛṣṇa enjoyed in Vrindavan, just as before, previous to his leaving there to kill Kamsa in Mathura. Then, at the end of 2 months, he withdrew his Vraj pastimes from mundane eyes by taking the demigods' portions of his parents and other relatives and friends to Vaikuntha. Thus, in one complete plenary manifestation, he went to Golok in the spiritual world, and in another he remained perpetually enjoying his Vraj while invisible to material eyes. And in yet another, he mounted a chariot and returned alone to Dwarka. The people of Shaursen province thought that after killing Dantavakra, Kṛṣṇa had paid a visit to his parents and other dear ones, now was returning to Dwarka. The people of Vraj, on the other hand, could not understand where he had suddenly disappeared to, and so they were totally astonished. Furthermore, Shukdeva considered that Parikshit Maharaj might think, how is it that the same Kṛṣṇa who caused the cowherds to attain Vaikuntha in their self-same bodies also caused the residents of Dwarka to attain such an inauspicious condition in the course of his martial Leela. Thus the king might consider the arrangement unfair because of his own affinity for the Yadus. That is why Shukdeva Goswami did not allow him to hear this pastime, which, as mentioned above, is related in the Uttarakhand of Sri Padma Purana. In Sri Vaishnatoshni, Sanatana Goswami's commentary, on the 10th canto, we find the following sequential list of pastimes. First was the journey on the occasion of the solar eclipse, assembly, then the gambling match, and attempted disrobing of Draupadi, then the Pandavas exiled to the forest, then the killing of Shalva and Dantavakra, then Kṛṣṇa's visit to Vrindavan, and finally the winding up of the Vrindavan pastimes. So this was a very, very long purport, but extremely meaningful. So we have a few minutes now to comment on this. I'll chant the prayers and then we'll move on to the discussion. Umagyantimrandhasya jnananjan shalakaya chakshumim tamena tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yen Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utpatikamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavasya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagan Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitansha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dīnbandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpitarubhayasya Kripa Sindhubhecha Patyanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vacharam, pangam langhati giram, yedkupatamaham vande, paramananda madhavam. Text 16 again. Evam yogeshwarah Kṛṣṇo Bhagavan Jagadishwarah Iyate pasyudrishtinam nirjito jayati iti saha. Thus Lord Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of all mystic power and Lord of the universe, is ever victorious. Only those of beastly vision think he sometimes suffers defeat. So first of all, I want to thank the management to give me this opportunity to be able to speak on this topic of Srimad Bhagavatam and seek the blessings of senior Vaishnavas, particularly His Grace Panchagoda Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Janma karma chame dvipam evam yovetti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma nati mameti arjuna. This is a famous verse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita which describes the transcendental nature of Krishna's pastimes, particularly his birth and his disappearance. So for devotees, it may be easy to understand that Krishna appears and disappears, just like the sun appears and disappears. Nobody questions the sun, do we? We don't question the sun. When the sun rises in the morning in the east, nobody questions, why are you here? And similarly, when the sun sets, we don't question why sun is setting. That's his nature. This is the nature. This is the system the Lord has set. So Krishna appears and disappears. For devotees, is no surprise. But for non-devotees, this is very difficult to understand. Very, very difficult. And if we want to go deeper into this mystery of Krishna's appearance and disappearance, then we may have to go to first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Kunti Maharani is presenting many other reasons why Krishna appears and disappears. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is explaining himself why he appears and disappears. So, paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya ca duskritam, dharma sansthapanarthaya, sambhamami yoge yoge. Then, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharat, abhyutthanam adharmasya, tadatmanam srijamyam. But Kunti Maharani explains other reasons and also the intricacies of Krishna's appearance and disappearance. So she is saying, Janma karma vishwatman. I'm just going to maybe read one or two verses just to put things in perspective. Janma karma vishwatman ajasya akartun abhayam ajasya akartun atmana triyang nishisu yadasu tadi atyant virambana. Kunti Maharani is saying that, my dear Lord, your janma and karma, your birth and your activities, they are very bewildering. She is using the word vidambanam. She said, this is just so bewildering that you appear, and where do you appear? Amongst the demigods, Vamandev. Then amongst the human beings, Lord Ram, Lord Kṛṣṇa, Parashuram. Then amongst the animals, Nrsimhadev. Then amongst the aquatics, Matsavatar. This is so bewildering. She is saying, this is very, very difficult to understand. Why do you do this? That you appear amongst all species of life, this is very bewildering. But she understands. Then she gives few other reasons. She said, Kechit ahar ajam jatam punya shlokasya kirtaye yado priyasya anuvavaye malasyeva chandanam. My dear Lord, some say, some people say, some scholars say, some devotees say, some very wise people say, that you appeared, why? So that the saintly personalities, the devotees can sing of your glories. So you engage in so many activities and the devotees relish chanting your glories. But some say that you appeared just to please your dear devotee Yadu Maharaj, just to give him the the glory that the Lord appeared as Yadunandan, as Yadava. So the Lord is known as Yadunandan. So giving the glory to Yadu Maharaj, because Yadu Maharaj was a very dear devotee of the Lord. Just like Lord Ram is known as Raghunandana. So Krishna is known as Yadunandan. To give him the glory, Yadu Maharaj. So some people say that you appeared to give that glory to your dear devotee Yadu. But actually, it is so that it's just like the forest of sandalwood is found in Malaysia. Malaysia is known as Malaysia because Malay means sandalwood. So it's found in Malaysia. Therefore, Malaysia became famous because sandalwood is found in Malaysia. So actually speaking, Yadu dynasty became glorified because you appeared there. Otherwise, it's just a dynasty of kings, emperors. But because you appeared, so this Yadu Vansha has become glorified. So this way, Kunti Maharani has given several reasons why the Lord appears. But here, coming back to the verse today, evam yogeswara Kṛṣṇo bhagavan jagadishwara iyate pasu drishtinam nirjito jayati tisa. So what we have described so far is the vision of a devotee, Kunti Maharani. She is one of the first devotees who glorified the Lord in Srimad Bhagavatam. One of the first prayers you see in Srimad Bhagavatam are the prayers of Kunti Maharani. So we were looking at through the eyes of Kunti Maharani. What we see that the Lord's pastimes are very bewildering. But the Lord appears for many, many regions. And Kunti Maharani has described some of those regions. But this verse is saying today that iyate pasudrishtinam nirjito jayati tisa. But the people who have got the eyes of animals, so animals also have eyes, human beings have eyes, but there is a difference. Animals see the same things and human beings see the same things, but there is a difference. What's the difference? The consciousness. The consciousness is the difference. So when an animal sees an object, the animal might see that this is something eatable. For example, if you go to a garden, a fruit garden, so animal sees the garden, fruit garden, sees the fruits. So animal sees eatables. A devotee sees nice offering. Okay? A businessman sees very nice crop, can make good money. Okay, so drishti. Yeah? So, Parikshit Maharaj is being told by Shukdev Goswami that drishti says srishti. So drishti and srishti, these two things are important. The way our vision is, this is the way we make sense of the world. Sense making and sense giving. What is sense making? You see something and according to your consciousness we make sense of it. For a devotee, this structure is a temple, worshipable place of worship. For atheists, this is a place where they think people are wasting time. And for others, they think this place should not be here at all. Okay? Like 400-500 years ago, entire Vrindavan was completely destroyed. There were only 3 things left in this place: Yamuna, Govardhan and Brijraj. Everything else was destroyed. Why? Drishti. When an atheistic person sees a temple, destroyed. When a devotee sees a temple, worship. So, the verse today is saying, Iyate pasudrishtinam. People who have got pasudrishti, The vision like an animal. Animal vision is gross, the gross vision, to see things in their gross way. It's a gross vision. So people who have gross vision, they can't see Krishna. Can they see Krishna? They come to the temple, they can't see Krishna. They only see marble. Many years back, one of my relatives came to Vrindavan when I joined here. So she came to see me. And she said, why Krishna is so black? So I was surprised. I said, that's all you can see? She saw black marble. She couldn't see Krishna. So, drishti. But when we purify our drishti, then Krishna tells in 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, evaṁ pashyati sarvatra, sarvam cha me pashyati, tasyam na pranashyami, sacha me na pranashyati. One who sees me everywhere. How can we see Krishna everywhere? Krishna is explaining a number of chapters of Bhagavad Gita how we can see Him everywhere. Starting from 7th chapter, 9th chapter, 10th chapter, 11th chapter. So the Lord is explaining how we can see Him everywhere. And particularly in 10th chapter, the Lord is saying, evaṁ pashyati sarvatra, one who sees me everywhere. And everything in me. To such a person, Krishna is never lost. Is Krishna lost in Vrindavan? No. Sometimes you see the devotees having this t-shirt, wearing t-shirt, I lost my heart in Vrindavan. That's okay. But Krishna is never lost in Vrindavan. So in the purport today, a very important Leela has been described. And that Leela is Krishna then disappearing from this planet. So we have to go back to Bhagavad Gita where the Lord says, Janma karma chame divyam. This word divyam, transcendental. How is it transcendental? Is explained in the word purport today. So the background of the pastime is that Krishna wanted to come to Vrindavan. He is always wanting to come to Vrindavan. And his parents are not allowing for him to come to Vrindavan. First time the Lord saw Mother Yashoda, Nanda Baba, Srimati Radharani in Kurukshetra during the solar eclipse. And this is how the tradition of Rath Yatra started. But then he wants to come to Vrindavan. He is always remembering Vrindavan. And in Brihad Bhagavatam, there is a beautiful pastime how the Lord is remembering Vrindavan in his dreams. So the Lord is having nightmares. But these nightmares are about his parents, about Srimati Radharani, about the gopis, about his gop sakhas. She is remembering them. And the queens are very worried that day and night he is simply remembering Brijvasis. So in order to pacify the Lord, at the advice of Narad Muni, they created New Vrindavan. This concept of New Vrindavan is the concept we find in Bhagavatam, New Vrindavan. So Prabhupada gave us Vrindavan, but Prabhupada also gave us New Vrindavan, which is, the Vrindavan was created in Dwarka, just to pacify the Lord. And they made diorama of Mother Yashoda, diorama of Nanda Maharaj, diorama of Srimati Radharani. And behind the scene, everybody, all the Dwarkavasis are watching how is Krishna relating with Mother Yashoda. The way the Lord relates with Mother Yashoda is amazing to Mother Devaki. She said, what? He loves Yashoda so much. The way he relates with Nanda Maharaj, his father was there, is amazed. What? He loves Nanda Maharaj so much. And the way he relates with Srimati Radharani and gopis, all the queens of Dwarka, headed by Rukmini, are amazed. What? He loves Srimati Radharani so much. It is beyond them. So this is New Vrindavan. Then the Lord comes, the sequence of event Prabhupada gives towards the end of the purport. That the Lord goes to Kurukshetra, then there is Rashtriya Yajna where he kills Shishupal, which has some connection with today's story. He kills Shishupal, and killing Shishupal, then the Lord comes back to Dwarka. Then the Pandavas, they lose their kingdom, Draupadi is disrobed, and they go to the forest. Then there's Mahabharata. So, after the battlefield of Mahabharata, when the Lord wanted to wind up his pastimes, this last demon he kills in Dwarka, Leela, is Dantavakra and Vijay. They appeared in 3 birds: Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Ravan, Kumbhakarna, and Shishupal and Dantavakra. So Dantavakra was killed by the Lord. But this man, this demon knew that in order to enrage Kṛṣṇa, I should do something when he will come and fight with me. Because he knew that Kṛṣṇa sometimes doesn't fight. He sometimes accepts defeat, like Jarasandha. So Jarasandha used to attack Mathura, and then the Lord will fight and defeat him. Now, if you look at the army that was in Kurukshetra, Ashtadas Akshvani, 18 Akshvani Sena. And if you compare that with the army that Jarasandha used to bring every time, is much greater. So Jarasandha used to bring like 22, 23 Akshvani Sena. And Kṛṣṇa and Balaram, they will just finish that army and send him back home. And this happened how many times? 17 times. So now if you calculate 22 times 17, so 154 Akshvani Sena was killed by Kṛṣṇa, just like that. But Mahabharata is famous because 18 Akshvani Sena, our army, was killed. By who? By so many Maharathis, including our grandfather Bhishma, Dronacharya, then Karna, then Arjuna, Jayadratha. They all together killed 18 Akshvani Sena. But Kṛṣṇa himself and Lord Kṛṣṇa and Balaram, 154 minimum. So that's the estimate. So they killed that much Akshvani Sena, which was brought by Jarasandha. But 18th time, the Lord didn't want to fight. He left. Now because he left 18th time, Jarasandha for the rest of his life, he was ridiculing the Lord. He said, I don't want to fight with him. He runs away, he can't face me. He runs away. So today's verse is saying that ete pasu drishtinam. So those who have animal eyes, what do? They see nirjito jayati tisat. Only they think that Kṛṣṇa sometimes get defeated. Only they see. The devotees don't see like that. Even from material estimation, Kṛṣṇa and Balaram killed some 154 Akshvani army, which was much, much greater than the army killed in Mahabharata. Much greater, many times greater. And yet, a person like Jarasandha always had opportunity to criticize Kṛṣṇa. So such people are with animal eyes, because they only see gross estimation. Kṛṣṇa left. He could not face me. Kṛṣṇa and Balaram left. So this man, Dantavakra, he knew that Kṛṣṇa loves Brijavasis, he loves Mathuravasis very much. So if I attack Mathura, Kṛṣṇa will come and fight with me. So he attacked Mathura. And when the Lord came to know, after killing Dantavakra, after killing Shishupal, and so when the Lord came to know that actually Dantavakra had come to Mathura, to attack Mathura. So the Lord instantly came here. Now this solved one more problem. And that problem was that his parents, Vasudeva and Devaki, would not allow him to go to Vrindavan, because they knew if he goes there, he may not come back. Because they had seen his love during the pastime of New Vrindavan. They had seen his love during the pastime of Kurukshetra, when they all went to solar eclipse. So they knew that he may not come back. So they would not allow him. But this time, because he was going to kill Dantavakra in Mathura, they said, yeah, that's fine. So the Lord came, killed Dantavakra in Vidurat, and then crossed Yamuna. This was after how many years? 100 years. So after 100 years, the Lord crosses Yamuna and comes to Vrindavan to meet Brajavasis. And our Acharyas have given, today we had the longest purport Prabhupada has written, one of the longest purports. So Srila Prabhupada quotes predominantly from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Jiva Goswami's Raghupati. So our Acharyas have given finer details how the Lord treated his parents, elderly. He said, he offered his obeisances to Nanda Maharaj. He sat at the lap of Mother Yashoda, who bathed him with her tears. Then he met his friends, and then for 2 months the Lord was enacting his pastimes with the gopis in the bank of Yamuna. Now, how was he dressing? Was he dressing like a king? No. He was dressing like a Gopal, Gopavesh. So that way the Lord was spending time for 2 months, and this was actually followed by Lord Balaram's visit to Vrindavan. When Lord Balaram came to Vrindavan, then he went back and he said, Kṛṣṇa, you have to go to Vrindavan. You keep postponing. Every time I tell you go to Vrindavan, but you keep postponing. But now you have to go to Vrindavan. Because if you don't go, then Mother Yashoda will not survive. Nanda Maharaj will not survive. All the gopis will not survive. So you must go, you have to go. And the Lord kept on postponing. Yes, I will go. Now these gopis, Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, they were all surviving because Kṛṣṇa had said that I will come back. So these words from Kṛṣṇa, that don't worry, mother, I will come back. And same thing he said to his friends, don't worry, I'll come back. So because he said I'll come back, they kept on living for so many painful years. Kṛṣṇa has said that he will come back, so let me live, because he will come back. So then Lord comes back here, and after spending 2 months with the Brajavasis, then Kṛṣṇa calls this airplane from Vaikuntha plane, not airplane, Vaikuntha plane. So this Vaikuntha plane is amazing. It can shrink and it can become bigger. Even a plane like Pushpak Viman had this quality which was used by Lord Ramchandra. This was amazing technology. We don't have that kind of technology now. Although you might see, maybe in a few years, double-decker planes. They can carry some 1,000 passengers. But they don't have the planes that can shrink and they can expand. So Lord Ramchandra brought all his army in Pushpak Viman. Why? Because as many people, this Viman, this plane, can expand. So this Vaikuntha plane came and all the Brajavasis mounted on this plane. Now the question is, who went to Vaikuntha? Vaikuntha, Prabhupada translates as Goloka Vrindavan, Param Vaikuntha. So who went to Vaikuntha? So there are explanations given by Acharyas. that Nandini and Yashoda, they were two personalities together, two in one. So Nanda Maharaj was Krishna's father, Nanda Maharaj from Goloka plus Drona, a Vasu. Yashoda Maiya, she was Krishna's mother from Goloka plus combined form of Yashoda plus Dhara, combined with Dhara. So Dhara Vasu Patni, Dhara. So they were sent to Param Vaikuntha in their celestial bodies. But what happened to Krishna's own father and mother? Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Maiya, Gopis, Srimati Radharani. Krishna went with them to Goloka, and at the same time Krishna remained here in this Vrindavan, Bham Vrindavan. So Krishna could do that. Why? Because Janma Karma Chame Dvipam. Krishna's birth and his activities are amazing, astonishing. So then Krishna went to Goloka, he went to Dwarka, and he remained here at the same time. Is that possible? Yeah? Yes, it is possible. So, just like Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when the Lord disappeared, he disappeared in a number of places. He disappeared in Jagannath temple. He also disappeared in the sea. He also disappeared in Tota Gopinath on his leg. 3 places. Is this possible? It's possible. Why? Because Yogeshwara. That's why the Srimad Bhagavatam verse is saying Yogeshwaraha. Because the Lord is master of all the mystic powers. Evam Yogeshwara Kṛṣṇa, Bhagavan Jagadishwara. Because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he is master of all mystic powers. This word Yogeshwara, all of you know, it's very famous. Yatra Yogeshwara Kṛṣṇa, Yatra Partha Dhanandhara. Then in Srimad Bhagavatam, in Bhagavad Gita 11th chapter, also we see Maha-Yogeshwaro Hari, the Lord, supremely mystic, supremely powerful Lord Hari. So that way the Lord disappeared in 3 different ways. Hare Krishna. It's a very long purport, and there are so many important points Srila Prabhupada has made, but we try to summarize something. Hare Krishna. Any question, comments?
Raghupati was the temple commander here in Vrindavan in 93, 94?
Yeah, 8 years.
8 years, yeah. So, Brijabasi here. So Krishna and Balaram are present in their deity form, Chaitanya, Nityananda, Radhashama Sundar. So in one sense, the Lord is present everywhere, all the time, but then he appears and disappears. So is it a matter of faith? If Krishna's in every atom, he's here, and he's also in the deity form. But at the same time, we say, the Lord's here or not here. Arjuna is feeling despondent when the Lord left, but Bhagavad Gita, he had to remember Bhagavad Gita and came back to his consciousness. Just thought you'd say a few words about that.
I think, Prabhu, you have already explained that Krishna is there and Krishna is not there. So, according to our consciousness, we see things. So just like earlier on, we quoted the verse from Bhagavad Gita, evaṁ pashyati sarvatra, sarvam chamai pashyati, tasyaham na pranashyami, sachame na pranashyati. So for devotees, this is the vision we need to develop. Prabhupada talks about developing a Mahabhagavat vision. So Prabhupada had this Mahabhagavat vision, isn't it? He could see Krishna everywhere. He could see pure devotees and hippies, and he made them pure devotees because he is a Mahabhagavat. So Prabhupada explains about this Mahabhagavat vision. Now somebody will say, we are not Mahabhagavats, how can we develop this vision? But we should remember this, that Krishna is saying that one who sees him everywhere and everything within him, for such a person, Krishna is never lost. So this is what we want. We don't want Krishna to be lost from our vision or from our hearts. So we have to attempt to develop this Mahabhagavat vision. Because one day, in Prabhupada's vision, everybody is a pure devotee. Okay, we may not be. But in Prabhupada's vision, because he is Mahabhagavat, everybody is a pure devotee. Yeah. And this will eventually happen, that everybody will become a pure devotee, because Prabhupada sees it like that. So we have to we have to try to develop this Mahabhagavat vision, or at least a devotee vision, seeing things from a devotee perspective. And then we are safe. But if we don't see things from devotee perspective, then we have problem. Like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he used to despise that when people brought their material learning and imposed it on spirituality, on Krishna consciousness, he didn't like it. He didn't like that. And sometimes we might have that kind of tendency, that we have some material learning and then impose it on Krishna consciousness. So that is dangerous. My own example, I do have some tasks. I do have some responsibility to teach in the universities. So all that material learning, teaching in the university as a professor, I keep that outside. Once I leave the university, outside. Okay? See Krishna consciousness from Krishna consciousness perspective, not material perspective. So if I impose my material learning, what my research is, what I'm teaching in the university, and then I'll make a mess. No. So we have to see things from devotee perspective. And if we remember that Prabhupada had Mahabhagavat vision, and if we develop devotee vision, then we are safe. And then we are in good place. Did I answer your question? Yes, bro.
Okay, last one. After this one.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for a wonderful class explanation. I have just one doubt. When Jai Vijay were cursed by the Kumaras for 3 lifetimes, they appeared in 3 different yugas. But when Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu were vanquished in Satyuga, and then when they took birth as Ravan and this Kumbhakar in Treta Yuga, but there was a gap. So where were they at that time? Because it's not that one life ends and another life starts, even though it's 3 lifetimes. And similarly, in Treta Yuga, when they were killed, and when they were born in Dvapar as Shishupal and Dantavakra, there was a gap. So is there any reference in scriptures? Were they back in the Lord's body and then they came out at that time again? Because the pastimes are only narrating that they came and they did this pastime for the pleasure of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
So the answer is that actually the answer is given in today's purport here today. From Acharyas, Prabhupada quotes from Acharyas. It's not very rare, but time to time Prabhupada quotes Acharyas as they have quoted in Sanskrit. Like today we saw passage after passages. Why? Because of the gravity of the subject matter. So your question is, what happened? Where did they go? And the answer is, they merged into Krishna's body. So twice they merged in Krishna's body. 3 times they merged in Krishna's body. But what happened? this time, third time, when they merged in Krishna's body, they were sent back to Vaikuntha. What happens as far as the time is concerned? So time is Krishna's servant. Khalosmi. So time is Krishna's servant. So in Vrindavan, time's contraction and expansion happens by Krishna's desire. Just like Rasalila happened for one night, but that was like Brahma's night. But because this is Vrindavan, it seems like one night. So time is Krishna's, is serving Krishna. So that's
it means that the first two they took Sayujya Mukti,
yeah.
and they experienced the bliss there also,
Yeah.
and then they came back again to continue the suffering or whatever curse, and then they went back to Vaikuntha. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shil Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Pramanande. Hare evaṁ.
Hare Krishna